Okay, so today's video I'm going to show you how to get your cylinder reel professionally ground. So I'm going to remove my reel personally and then take that down to a professional to get that sharpened. I take my reels down to Brisbane cylinder mower specialists. I'm in Brisbane, they're located at Wynnum. It's probably a half an hour drive for me. I've used Andrew many times in the past. Excellent service, excellent reel grind, never had an issue. He's full of knowledge and he's more than helping. He's more than willing to help. So any questions, definitely hit him up. He'll be able to sort you out. So today I'm going to show you how to remove the reel, remove the sole plate, take that down to Andrew, get him to professionally sharpen it. Once I receive that back, then I'll do another video of how to install and set the reel. So what I'm doing today, you can actually take your whole mower to Brisbane cylinder mower specialists and they will actually do this for you. So if you're not confident in any of these steps, just take your whole mower down there. They'll sort the whole thing out for you. You'll get your mower back and it'll be sharp as can be and you'll be good for the cutting season. So, okay, so a couple of steps, not too many, it's quite easy. So firstly, we're going to remove our grass deflector. Once we've got the grass deflector off, it gives us sort of access to the top of our bearing holder cradles. After that, I'll remove the chain cover. Once the chain cover is off, do not forget, this is pretty crucial, otherwise you'll have to put your chains back on. Do not forget to crack the nut on the reel sprocket. So basically, if you take your chains off before you do that, you've got no resistance and your reel just spins around and around and around. So as you're trying to loosen that nut, the reel just keeps spinning. So you've got no resistance to sort of crack that nut. Do it while the chains are on, not an issue. So once we've cracked the nut, we'll take the chains off. Once we've got the chains off, we will remove the cutter sprocket. Once that's off the reel, we'll take our bearing holder tops off. Once we've got the tops off, then we can slide the reel out. So a couple of steps, quite easy. Here we go. Okay, so as you saw, the chains actually did nothing, so my mistake. The chains are more for this nut up here actually. Basically, so as I was trying to undo the nut, the reel was spinning. So all I did there was just got a bit of timber, jammed it in the reel, sort of locked it all up, cracked my nut. Once I cracked the nut, you can remove the timber, not an issue. So anyway, chains are off. To remove our reel sprocket, you're going to need what they call a bearing or a gear puller, rather. So a gear puller sort of clamps on here. As you tighten this up, it'll pull this sprocket off the shaft of the reel, and it just pops off. So here we go. Righto, so that was a lot easier than what they normally are. Normally they're incredibly tight and they don't slip off. Now, the reason that was probably so loose and easy to come off is because I'm yet to use this mower, so I've only just assembled it. When I assemble, I'll put grease on the shaft here and everything to assist me with removing it in the future. So if you are doing this and you haven't restored your mower, that's probably going to be a lot harder to get off. My instance wasn't so hard. I could have actually pulled it off with my fingers. So once we've got that off, We've got a woodruff key in the shaft here, so I'm going to remove the woodruff key, put that aside somewhere because you don't want to lose that. Once we've got that aside, we'll take the bearing housing covers off and the reel will pop out. So there we have it, we've got the reel removed. This is exactly how you need to take your reel down to get it professionally ground. So you need the bearings to remain on the shaft. If you do remove them, chances are whoever's professionally grinding it is actually going to install new bearings on there for you, because they need the bearings to align the reel in their machine. So leave the bearings on unless you want to replace them. I've actually already replaced these because I've restored the mower. So the brand new bearings shouldn't have an issue. So we'll take this as it is down to Brisbane cylinder mower specialists, along with, just pop that aside, so along with our sole plate. So the sole plate needs to come out. That's just a matter of 4 nuts and bolts, 2 on each side. Once we've done them, that'll just drop down and she'll fall out of the mower. Okay, so there it is. So the sole plate has been removed from the mower. The reel has been removed from the mower. Normally you would have a bed knife on the bottom of your sole plate. In this instance, because I've just restored this mower, I've actually already removed the bed knife. The reason I did that is because I wanted to paint underneath the bed knife. So if you're just looking at getting your reel sharpened, you're not restoring your mower or anything like that, you will have the bed knife already mounted on there. Me personally, I would just take the sole plate and the bed knife straight down to your professional reel grinder. Leave it up to them to remove the bed knife from the sole plate. Sometimes it can be incredibly hard to do that. So they'll have all the right tools to do that. Me personally, if I'm going to get my reel professionally ground, I will replace the bed knife. For the sake of $10, a brand new bed knife, I believe, is much better than using one that's been in the mower for 10 years. So I will be getting a brand new bed knife. I'm just going to purchase that from Brisbane cylinder mower specialists. They'll have one of them in stock. So here we are, guys. The next video is probably going to be of me reinstalling this back into the mower, setting it so it's cutting paper, and hopefully we'll get to use it. So give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you like. I'll post a link below for Brisbane cylinder mower specialists. It'll just be to their website, so if you want to look them up, go for your life. Alright, so that last video, it's been weeks since I filmed that. I actually got the reel back a little while ago. I just haven't had time to put it in. So that's definitely not how long it takes for Andrew to pump out a reel. That's definitely my slowness, I suppose you could say. So anyway, I've got the reel, I've got the bed knife. They look excellent, nice and sharp, nice clean cut. They have been sitting in my shed for probably 2 weeks, and they do have a little bit of surface rust on them. Again, that's my fault. When I first picked them up, they were pristine. Though that sort of stuff isn't going to affect any of this at all. It'll still be razor sharp and cut extremely well. So today we're going to put the bed knife in. I'll just quickly grab the bed knife from here, I'll show you. Okay, so here is the bed knife. If you remember when we took that bed knife to Andrew, there was no blade on the bottom. It was just the sole plate. So brand new cutting blade on the bottom, new reels, ground flat, and this is extremely sharp. You'll just have to take my word for that, but very sharp. So we'll pop that in the mower first. 4 bolts either side, two bolts either side. After we've done that, we'll put the reel back in. So here's the reel. As you can see that it's been now ground. So when we took that there, that was all painted. So the professional machine has ground a nice sharp edge on there. So be very careful handling these just with your hands. I've cut myself a few times on it on other machines, but just be aware, it's very sharp. So here we go, guys. There's really not much to this. It's basically, we're going to bolt in our bed knife, sole plate and bed knife. We'll put the reel in, put the sprocket, the gear sprocket on the reel. Once we've done that, then I will adjust the reel to the bed knife. So there's a little bit of process to how I do that. But I'll run through that once I get to this stage. So I'll just time lapse this. We'll just skip to the reel already installed. So okay, so fast forward. So as you can see, I've now installed the reel. The reel's in, bed knife's in, sole plate's in. We've also got our cutter sprocket on. So I have also tightened this nut up best I can. So I've got a rubber mallet. It's got a rubber handle. I slip that in the reel like so, and then I rest it on the back of the top of the sole plate. So when you tighten that up, it actually tries to spin the reel. But if you do that, I find that the rubber mallet sort of has enough give. If you use a bit of steel or something, there's a very high chance that you will snap a blade or something like that. So I just use a rubber mallet. Do that at your own expense, I suppose. Don't just take my word for that. It's all about the feel of how much tension. So if you're not confident, don't do that. Basically, reel's in. It's spinning freely. It's not touching the bed knife at all. So now, now's the tricky part. So to lower the blade onto the bed knife, you want to get it only just touching or not touching at all. It's a little bit tricky, but the one thing I will say that probably goes the longest, do this when you don't have any chains installed. If you do it with the chains installed, you get a different height. You just can't fine tune it as well as you can when you've got no chains installed. So no chains, and hopefully I'll put the camera over my shoulder now, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But basically, just to walk you through it with words, so basically I want to lower one side until it's just touching. Once I've got that, I'll lower the other side till it's just touching. Then I'll tighten up my nylock nut, so that'll hold the blade basically in its position. However, once you do that, you'll probably find that the blade will become too tight against the bed knife. So what I like to do is get a screwdriver and a shifter, and at the same time loosen the bolt and the nut, turning them at the same time. Now, you only need to do like a quarter of a turn. It's very minute, but that will raise the blade just that little bit much. And then once you've done that, you should be able to get your blade to cut newspaper thin paper quite easily. So also, before you do this, don't forget to undo the locking nuts for your reel holders. If you start doing this with them tight, there's a very high chance you'll end up cracking or breaking your reel holder. So, all right, I know that's a lot to take in, but let's see if we can get this done. Okay, so I've lowered both sides. The reel is now touching the bed knife. You should be able to hear it. It sounds like it's a scissor all the way across the bed knife. So that sounds nice. However, as soon as we tighten this nylock nut, you'll find that the reel will go a little bit lower and it will be too tight. So I'll tighten them now and you'll see. Okay, so it's a little bit of fiddling around, but we've got it now. So you can hear that it's sort of a little bit uneven now. That's because when we've tightened these up, the reel bearing holders have lowered uneven. So that's not an issue. We can fine tune that next. Right. So turning the bolt and the nylock nut at the same time, and this side particularly we want to raise just a slight. Okay, so it's a little bit of playing around. Take your time with it. This has probably taken me almost 10 minutes to get to this point now. So the reel will still spin freely, and hopefully you can hear that it's just nicking our bed knife. So you can hear it's just nicking. At this point, I'm going to get a bit of newspaper, tilt the mower back, see if we're cutting newspaper all the way across the bed knife. If we are, that's excellent. We'll tighten up our bearing holder nuts on the outside of each side. Once we've done that, we'll put our chains back on, and we should be ready to go and mow. So I'll do that quickly now. Okay, so we've got this side of the blade cutting nicely. This side here just needs to go a little bit lower, so I'll just quickly adjust that. So I literally just moved that probably 1/8 of a turn. So it's such a minor amount, but that makes a huge difference. Okay, so now we're cutting newspaper right across the blade. I've got it so perfect. This is probably the best one I've ever done. I'll see if you can hear when I spin the blade. I'll see if you can hear. So basically, I don't even think it's actually touching the bed knife, which is really, really, really good. So when I spin this, it doesn't even sound like a scissors cutting effect or anything. So. Okay, so now we've set our blade. Don't forget to tighten up your tightening nut each side. That'll hold the blade in the correct position. Once we've done that, we'll put our reels, we'll put our chains on. Once we've got our chains on, we'll go and give this baby a test run. Okay, so before everybody blasts me on the internet, this is a brand new mower. I've just rebuilt it. I've just run through and I've checked every single nut and bolt. They are tight. I'll put grease, lubricant all over my chains. Just about to pop the chain cover on there. Once we've got that on there, I'll take this outside. I've checked the engine oil. Basically, I've run through and I've checked everything. We're ready to mow. So I've just mowed my backyard, so I don't really have any grass to mow. However, I'm thinking I may take this out the front yard, though the grass out there might be too long. We'll see. So here we go.